Welcome back to Shepherd's Cove. Still August 14th, 2025. So, one of the guys told a story a little bit ago I thought was pretty cool. Yesterday I was talking about how frontal lobotomy basically wipes out your ability to feel, which mitigates, any values that you may have, which in turn, kills hope. Well, there's a reason that they wanted to kill, your inability to feel, because there's people that feel at all different levels. There's a lot of people that feel greater things than others. It's so much easier to, either medicate or incarcerate someone whose feelings exceed the standard, per se, whatever the standard may be, because I'll tell you what, I've gotten away with some crazy shit. But there's a standard, and that standard's a constant variable. If you happen to know the cop or whatever, he'll let you get away with stuff, or whatever the case may be. And, that I'm a firm believer that there's, times when people go through stuff, they feel a large amount of pain, so they're ones that feel a large amount of joy. There's others that go through life and, they're very quiet and meek. They've never had real substantial amounts of pain, or, never had the ability to feel substantial amounts of joy. So they're not the ones who are gonna, just go hollering out in the middle of the street and because that's not their gig. They don't just feel those extremes. But there's many of us that do, that we feel those extremes. And hence the need to either be medicated, get a frontal lobotomy, or incarcerated, Well, so my boy was talking about fleas. So, fleas, they can jump, crazy jump. I don't know if it's true. He was saying that if we had the ability to jump the same as a flea, that we'd literally be able to jump to the moon. I have not done that research to confirm nor deny. Anyways, so he's talking about you put a bunch of fleas in a jar, and the fleas will jump and hit the lid of the jar, but eventually they'll start jumping and not hit the lid of the jar. Well, you take those fleas out of the jar, and they will continue to only jump to the heights of the lid of that jar. Conditioning. When you're conditioned to be limited, in your emotions, in life, that's kind of a drag. We have to learn to limit our emotions, and that is to comply with social standards. You got feelings on that? Let me know. Enjoy the rest of your day. God bless y'all.